Pastor, please hear me. We're not asking you to fundamentally transform what you're doing. We're just asking you to be good, faithful stewards of your citizenship. That's all. Not everybody can be Don Wildman and start out as a Methodist minister and do what he's doing. Not everybody can be Jerry Falwell or Dr. Kennedy. We're not asking you to do that unless God's called you to do it. Then please feel free and let us help you do it. But we're asking you to just be faithful. And the times where there's prophetic issues in the culture in your state, the times when there's elections, let's awaken our people and let's educate them.
Why would anyone want to destroy an innocent baby? Many of you who are here today would not be here if your parents chose to abort you.
You know, I think about what Daphne Campbell's doing right now in Florida legislature, standing alone for the unborn, for the most innocent and vulnerable members of our society. And in historical context, I think that she really is like William Wilberforce, who stood in the Parliament alone, arguing for decades for the end of the slave trade. And so our hats are off to Daphne Campbell.
Prayer belong in council meetings? Well, joining us to debate this issue, we got civil rights attorney Larry Walters and lead counsel for the Florida Family Policy Council. We got John Stemberger there.
The Constitution says you have to be inclusive. You cannot favor one religion over another. That's a constitutional problem.
John, Larry brings it up right here. You say there's no mosques in Lady Lake, but say they move in. Are we then going to include a Muslim prayer? Would you allow that to be recognized in the council meeting as well?
It's completely within the discretion of the city, but these prayers reflect the Christian tradition that's in their area. I mean, look in the phone book. There's no mosque that they're going to ship them in from other counties hours away or something. So there's nothing permissible, nothing wrong with this at all in the Constitution. Look, and to not have any prayer, which is really what they're asking for, by the way. They're not asking for diversity. This letter to the city is saying we don't want any prayer, is really establishing secularism, establishing humanism or atheism as a religion which has been recognized by the Supreme Court. They can't have it both ways.
About prayer at public meetings right before. The atheists of Florida suing the Lakeland City Commission, saying that opening prayers violate the Constitution at public meetings.
Opening these city commission meetings with a specific denomination's prayer is problematic because it's an indoctrination of that particular religion.
I totally disagree. That's an incorrect version of the law. This is completely constitutional. The commission is entirely within their rights.
They've gone to the lengths of arresting some of these atheist representatives on bogus, trumped-up charges after they've raised these issues. There's clearly a problem out there with law enforcement and the city of Lakeland and their approach to this issue.
When you're disruptive to public meetings, you normally get arrested. But people who want to just peacefully express their faith, it's not a problem. They're going to prevail. The city of Lakeland will prevail, I predict, because they're on all fours. This is constitutional. Our nation is a religious nation, and this is just a natural expression of letting citizens express their faith before a public meeting.
A teenager from Ohio who fled to Florida for religious freedom will remain right here for at least the next 3 months. In juvenile court today, the 17-year-old Rivka Berry said she loves her parents, but she fears they'll kill her because she converted from Islam to Christianity. But the judge said he needed more time to review the dangers she could face before making a decision.
She's not completely safe and not completely home, but the fact that a proceeding has been started here, the presumption of jurisdiction is now in Florida for the state to say, hey, she's dependent, she's in need of services, and she can stay for another year until she turns 18.
So, John, what's the bottom line here? Is there a possibility that Rivka could have to go home to her parents?
It's possible if they lose the dependency case, but it seems very unlikely because the issue here is there a conflict between the child and the parents? And there obviously is a conflict. Because the Constitution itself is not neutral toward religion. It's very active toward Congress, make no law regarding the establishment of religion. That's not neutrality. That's very active, saying Congress don't restrict the free exercise of religion, and that's precisely what has happened. We've turned it around to mean something completely different than what it originally was. Let me say this is very important. The First Amendment was written to protect religious groups from government interference. It was not written to protect non-religious persons from religious persons.
push to allow gay partners to adopt children is winding its way through the Florida judicial system. The hot-button issue is on the Circuit Court of Appeals docket this morning, and as Hank Tester reports, the appeals court will not be the final stop for this high-profile legal issue.
We are committed to keeping them together.
Gill surrounded by ACLU attorneys post-hearing.
I know for my kids, I'm the best father. That's because me and my partner can provide them with a continuity that only we can provide them with. A separation at this point would be devastating.
Objections to the permanent adoption comes from the Florida Family Policy Council. They don't oppose gay foster parents, object to gay adoption.
It's real easy to focus on the singular story here, but we're focused on good public policy for all families and all children, and the research is crystal clear. Kids do better with a mom and a dad. Well, the court is wrong, and it's wrong primarily because it's saying that a mom and a mom is just as good as a mom and a dad.
John Stemberger is head of the Florida Family Policy Council, which opposes gay adoption. He claims studies support his assertion that heterosexual couples are the only suitable parents.
It's going to reduce the number of unintended pregnancies. It's going to reduce the numbers of abortions. And it also gives women and young people an opportunity to make that critical decision on their own.
But others disagree. John Stemberger is the president of Florida Family Policy Council. He believes this is not a decision a 17-year-old should make.
I think parents ought to be furious at this decision. I mean, this is an affront to parental rights and to the safety and health of young minor girls.
One lawmaker wants to change the way evolution is taught in the classroom. Specifically, he wants teachers to challenge the theory of evolution rather than teaching it as undisputed fact.
You need to nail him down. What is this critical analysis? He tells us what it is, he might win the Nobel Prize.
That's a great question. I think that, unfortunately, evolution for some hardcore secularists is not just science. It's faith, it's religion, it's philosophy for them. Why would anyone not want to critically analyze any topic being taught to children, especially one that has serious problems with it?
State Representative Jeff Clemens from South Florida would like Floridians to decide whether the Sunshine State should legalize marijuana for medicinal purposes. John Stemberger runs Florida's Family Policy Council, which concentrates on issues affecting families and children. He thinks legalizing medical marijuana in Florida is an awful idea.
And the real problem is it sets a bad example for teenagers. And there's enormous abuse that takes place. If you just look in California, what's taking place, there's enormous fraud with this.
Representative Clemens disagrees. He says he wants to help folks with debilitating diseases and patients going through chemo without developing addictions. Stemberger says he feels for folks in severe pain, but...
Well, I think it's a little bit silly to claim that marijuana is not addictive. It's certainly a gateway drug to other harder drugs. We've seen that. The statistics bear that out.